personally, like, I really think it is, like, scary that kids that are, like, so young can be taken advantage of, and a lot of times they don't even realize it, you know, because 'cause they're so little and they're still very naive, and technology is a very, like, scary thing when in the hands of,
Hmm.
like, the wrong person.
My name is Pauline Stewart, and I'm a mother of 2 teenage boys. I'm here to tell you about my son, Ryan. Ryan was a victim of sextortion. Sextortion happens when a person blackmails or threatens to distribute your private or explicit photos or videos. If you do not send more explicit photos or videos, money, or engage in activities that may be sexual or illegal in nature. This individual may also threaten to harm your friends or family unless you comply with their demands. Unfortunately, Ryan ended up taking his life due to the extreme pressure that was put on him by the person demanding money and threatening to distribute explicit photos of him.
My name is Arise, and I'll be your moderator for this episode of Group Chat on Extra Credit. We're going to be talking about sexploitation today, and it's definitely a heavier topic, but it's one that needs to be discussed. So, my first question that I had after watching the video was, what surprised you guys about the segment?
I would say something that surprised me is just the amount of different ways that people can extort you for your explicit content or videos. Like, they can blackmail you by saying that they want more or else they'll release this thing, or they want you to do something for them, or they want money, or they can even harm your family and friends. And that's just like so many different things that people can ask of you, like, and blackmail you to do.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's a really terrible thing. Brianne, what about you? Is there anything you want to add about what surprised you?
For me, I believe it would be the fact that this is something that actually happens in our world today, and especially with technology, I feel like that they have an easier way to actually take advantage of someone, and it's sad that it is happening to like a certain demographic, like young kids, and specifically, and it's just really messed up what they're doing.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's a very heavy topic. So, another question that I have is, what should young people know about this topic?
I believe that with sexual exploitation, it could actually turn into something worse. Like I used to work at an organization, and we dealt with human trafficking, and it could actually turn into something like that, to where the point where they could blackmail you to the point that you're actually being trafficked to do things that are against your will. And I think that it's just really important for like our younger generation to not be naive to certain things like this, and to just be careful who it is, like what Cedar said, like who they trust and what it is that they want to show on the internet, because not everything should be disclosed. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And speaking of like not disclosing like everything on the internet, like did this video change the way that you guys engage online?
I would say I don't know. I feel like I'm at like a point where it's like when I was younger, I was being introduced to technology, it was just advancing. So it's not like I'm where I'm growing up with it. I mean, where I'm actually born into it, like, advanced technology now. So I feel like with those, it's like that's their way of the world. Whereas for me, I was getting used to everything, and I'm still like seeing people. I don't know how to explain this really, but it's just like for me, I had to watch other people go through certain things. Meanwhile, like having advanced technology like TikTok, like in middle school, I didn't have that. So it's a little bit easier for them to be naive to getting uh, shown like certain things out on the internet than it is for me now, because I'm a bit older than they are. I don't know if that made any sense,
Yeah,
but
it does make sense. I totally get it. I agree. I think it's like personally, like I really think it is like scary that kids that are like so young can be taken advantage of, and a lot of times they don't even realize it, you know, because they're so little and they're still very naive, and technology is a very like scary thing when in the hands of
mm-hmm.
like the wrong person. Cedar, anything that you want to add about if this video changed the way you engage with online?
So me personally, when I was in middle school, like in my 8th grade year, I had a friend that something similar to this happened to. He had put some explicit photos out there, and somebody was saying they would release them. But it was taken care of eventually. But just seeing that happen to my friend, it just made me very cautious. Like from that age, like from 8th grade onward, I'm just very cautious about what I share. And if I was ever going to share something that might be like more dubious in nature, which I probably wouldn't, I would make sure to do it only with somebody that I know, like in real life and trust. And I would never share anything explicit over the internet just because there's so many ways that that could get out. And that's something that I would never want.
Could I say
Yeah,
something?
go
I
ahead.
feel like at the same time, like you never know who it can be or who it might be, because it could be like somebody you're really cool with, and one day you guys might fall out, and then all of a sudden they're just like, "Oh, you know what? Since you hurt my feelings, I'm about to post this all over Instagram or post these messages or these photos, whatever it may be." It could be little things like that, and it's like at the same time, it's like some people may not even know how to be aware of these things because it could be someone you trust, and so if that
Yeah.
happens, then it's just like, okay, how do I know how to be cautious of this? So I don't know, maybe all around, just, I don't want to say just don't do it because it's like we all should have, our own freedom to like post certain pictures of ourselves on the internet without them being, abused in a way. So,
Hmm.
I, mm,
It's a really good point, and honestly, it kind of leads me to my next question because you're talking a lot about like how we can keep other people like safe and how like advice. And that's kind of my next question, like what online safety advice do you guys have for like other students or young kids that might not be aware of this issue?
I would say number one, you should never post anything online that you don't want people seeing
right,
because there's too great a chance of it possibly getting out, like whether that's somebody sharing it or it just gets out by accident. So just be careful with what you put out there in the first place. And if you're planning on putting something out, just think about it before you do and think about if this accidentally got out, like would I be okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's always better, I think, to err on the side of caution and just to be careful about what you're posting. Brianne, is there any advice that you'd have for other kids?
I mean, I agree with Cedar as well. I know that not everybody may think in that way, that like what they're doing at the moment could in the long run end up bad for them. But I would just say just try to be cautious and think before you act upon something. But yeah, I think Cedar really said it all.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me with this conversation on sexploitation. It's really a heavy topic, but it was a wonderful discussion. And I'm glad that we could shed some more light on issues like this and hopefully help other kids who might be going through this or know people who are. So I think we all can be part of this solution. And that's going to be it for this episode of the group chat on Extra Credit. Bye, everybody.